Hey guys, Chad Hoover, ICAST 2023. I am back in the Dakota booth with one of my favorite humans on the planet, Mr. Stormy. So listen, all of you guys know that Dakota Lithium powers my passion for all of my outdoor activities. But the crazy thing is, you guys just keep leapfrogging yourself, right?
Yes,
so there's some new stuff in the booth. I'm going to talk about one or two, and then I'm going to turn it over to you to talk about the rest. Here's a cool deal. As a kayak angler, these packages just keep getting smaller and smaller. This is the old 12 volt 10 amp hour. This is the new 12 volt 10 amp hour. 3 or 4 of these inside your pod can power dang near anything, right?
We call it the Cube.
The Cube. You can throw this in your trail camera boxes.
Yep.
You can throw it in your backpack. You can power your phone. You can do anything. But the packages just keep getting smaller. Same amount of power, half the size. This dude right here. Come on, man. This is a new 25 12 volt. And didn't you say something about this having cranking amps?
This is part of our new motocross lineup, and it has 300 amp hours, 300 cc's of cranking ability. So it's good for all the motocross area, your ATVs, snowmobile, anything that doesn't exceed 300 cc's of cranking power.
And so that's going to do stuff like like a Prius. It's probably going to crank like your, that car with the dancing hamster.
Yeah,
What's that car called? You know what I'm talking about? That bump, bump, you know what I'm talking about? You guys know. Comment in the comment section below if you know the car that's got the dancing hamsters. This will probably crank that, all right? All right, and then you're continuing to evolve in the 12 volt stuff.
Yeah.
Talk about this new 12 volt 135.
So our 135 has been out for a period of time. It's done really well. It's become one of our workhorses in our lineup. Very little failure rate. And it is just extending run times more and more. And this iteration, this evolution of the 135 has the Mercury specs. So you can use it for cranking with all Mercury spec boats and engines.
And so here's a representation of what I'm talking about with the 10 amp hour. This is 135, smaller and sitting on top of the old 100 amp hour, and it just shows where the evolution of this thing is going. Now, one of the things that I've been talking to Stormy about offline is that for next year, when we travel to cover events, when we do our trail series, we're building a mobile media center, right? And so I got a sneak peek at this thing over here, this monstrosity that I want to talk about, which is
So this is our new 560.
It's like hard to even believe, 560?
560 amp hours, brother. It's got the canvas communication, so you can detect each cell's health.
And that's a big deal for solar, right?
Yes.
So you got your standard 12 volt connection, but you got the ability to monitor the health of your units through your solar charging systems.
Correct.
Which is a big deal. But 560 amp hours in one box.
We're not putting that on a kayak.
Is going to power. We might not be able to, but I think I probably will. No, we're going to put this in a trailer build out that we're working on, so that we can create a mobile media center, a mobile communication center, and a mobile, basically a place on wheels to go stay where we play. Not quite an overland trailer because it's a little too big, but this thing right here is going to be perfect for that.
It's going to be perfect for all the solar applications. It really is.
And living full-time in an RV now, stuff like this is huge because you don't realize how vulnerable you are to power outages. Because if you live in an RV, you're the last person to get your power restored. They're restoring, the residential stuff first.
Especially when you live in Tornado Alley.
Well, and when you live in places where there's just thunderstorms that pop up and tornadoes and all that good stuff, having the ability to have backup power, like on demand, that's going to last. This thing is going to run my camper for 3 or 4 days. With pretty much everything except the air conditioner. Right? It's not going to quite run the air conditioner, but for the most part, you're going to have your life essentials. So is there anything else, I say else because you got all this stuff out. Is there anything else new that you want to talk about for Dakota?
We have a few more models coming out in the very near future. We have a new 36-100 that's going to come out. So the 3660 is now going to be coming in the 12 volt 100. So the 3660 will be coming in this case now. So we're going half the size with the 3660.
Half the size and up to a 36 volt system.
Right.
That's worth pointing out. You're going from a 12 volt to a 3600. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
But you're bringing that 36 volt system down to that smaller package.
Right, in that footprint.
So that's going to work great for your Newport vessels, your other motors out there that are running off a 36 volt. You're not going to overpower the kayak with this monster battery, and you're still going to get a ton of power.
Absolutely.
Because we've all been running these 100 amp hour batteries in that same size for the last 5 years.
Yep.
So going to a 36 volt in that size is going to be huge.
Yes, it is.
I just actually had a couple of Newport vessels delivered literally as I was leaving, waiting on the batteries to get there, and I'm going to start playing that same game because it's one of those things where people keep asking me about this stuff, but because I've used Torqeedo for so many years, I haven't really been able to speak to it, right? I haven't been able to speak to the bow mounts, the other models, and so honestly, man, with your encouragement, I reached out to some of these other companies. You actually made the intro. They're like, absolutely. So that way I can give comparisons of all the options out there so consumers can make better informed decisions.
And speaking about that Newport vessels, so for the NK180, this is our 2460 amp hour battery. So you got one battery to run that NK180. They're getting 21, 22 miles on it off of this one battery.
So the one thing that people, I don't think necessarily think about if they're lay and they don't understand electronics, you know, my son's a former electrician, I'm a former aviation electronics technician in the Navy, you work in this game, but explain to the folks a little bit about when you jump up to 24 and 36, that the amp hours, it's not the same, right? You're not gonna get the range out of an NK180 with a 2460 that you would a 1260, if that makes sense. You know,
no,
these guys,
get more range,
you're getting way more range. You're just getting more power, and you're going to be able to use less of that more power so that you get more range, if that makes sense.
It optimizes the draw.
Exactly.
And you
have to use less power to get the motor going, to get the boat going, and that's going to extend your range. You know what I'm saying? So what's the go further? What's the thing that you guys come up with?
Go farther, play harder. Oh, you're killing
Fish
me,
longer, man.
Fish
longer.
baby.
Put him on the spot. Well, listen, guys, you guys have known it for a number of years that not only does this knucklehead support everything that we do, and you guys need to help us support those that support us, doesn't just support KBF and the organizations, but the individual anglers, their ability to get out on the water, to engage, to teach, to share, and to inspire other folks to do the same thing. So, bruh, love you, man.
I love you too, brother.
Listen, support those companies that support us. This is Dakota Lithium. Use it to power your passion, and you will not be let down.
Bingo.
Cool. All right, guys, so listen, one thing you might have noticed about Stormy is there's a lot less Stormy now. Stormy's got that svelte thing going on, getting in a lot better shape. And you might misconstrue that just because he's in better shape that he's somehow gotten stronger because he picked this 560 up like it was nothing. Well, it's a case, so don't get it twisted. Stormy's still kind of weak. He's still kind of feeble. I'm just messing with you. Anyway, I just wanted to, actually Austin said, make sure you guys touch on the fact that he didn't just pick that thing up and set it over the top just like that. Now, lithium is lighter, but it definitely ain't gonna be that light. All right, you guys, thanks for watching. Y'all leave a comment in the comment section below if you got questions about any of these products, and we'll get Stormy to jump in there and help you answer them. Cool. Good catch, man. Good catch. Ooh.